It is time to blast off inside the kennel. And now here is the Tomahawk Missile himself, Vindog Radio.
Woo! 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 Welcome to Inside the Kennel with myself, Vindog Radio, a Money Bin production. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to turn it up and get loose by the juice right here on Podbean.com. Over 1.7 billion downloads of podcasters and influencers on this app, and there's over 5 million downloads of the Podbean app itself. Ladies and gentlemen, please like and follow the podcast. Share it with friends, neighbors, and family members. We're available on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Pandora. Yes, indeed. And wherever you shall download podcasting, we're also on Amazon Music. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness. How about the meat mafia going after the small farmers? That's right. They're going after the dairy farmers, trying to shut them down. It is insane what is going on in this country. Please, you got to stand up for the farmers. These farmers need our help. They need us because we need them. These families work very hard on the dairies, and people think that, oh yeah, these farmers are millionaires. No, they're not. And plus, there are companies that are taking money out of the farmers' pockets. If you don't believe me, listen, Glenn Beck is going to break this down for us.
Together, they make up the Big Four, or what I call the meat mafia. Tyson, Cargill, JBS USA, and National Beef. Together, they count for 80% of the market. So if you buy steak, ground beef, whatever, in a restaurant or a store, it most likely came from one of these four companies. Now, two of the four, JBS and National Beef, are foreign-owned. In 2019, the U.S. Cattlemen's Association sent a letter to the Secretary of the Treasury warning about the potential supply chain risk. He said, quote, "We're pushing back against foreign ownership. We're pushing back against consolidation. We view this as a national security concern, and it could impact the ability of our nation to feed itself or end up harming consumers." Okay, what's been done? Well, there's a lot going on here. Remember, for some reason, all these companies are getting rich off the high price of beef, while the ranchers are losing their shirt and seeing cattle prices drop lower and lower while feed prices are going up. It doesn't make sense, and it has never happened before.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you believe that it's happening to the big little farmers? The big little farmers, I like to call them, because this is insane. This chicanery is happening in the United States of America, and people are not talking about it. You know why? Because there are some folks that are in on it, that are on the take. And you know, Josephina Robinette Biden is not so far behind. Of course, he's not running the country. Well, then again, who is? Well, I'm going to tell you who's running the country. Jill Biden and the puppeteers, Barack Hussein Obama, and his puppeteers are pulling his strings, telling him what to tell Joe how to do things. You get where I'm going with this? The meat mafia has people like Bill Gates that owns 30% of the farmland in America. That is a problem to me, and I hope it is a problem with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you see the face of Bill Gates on television, do this. Right down the commode, because that's where he is taking America. These people do not like you. They do not like me. They don't like the small farmers. As a matter of fact, they are underbidding these cows. Yes, farmers are not making the money off the cows. They're not even like breaking even. They're actually losing. And I heard a little rumor that they might have to start slaughtering some of the cows because these big old conectas out there are screwing them 16 ways to Sunday and 32 to Tuesday. My man Money Ben's looking at me like, man, that is crazy. It is. It is really crazy, Money Ben. It is. It is. He's a super producer. You can follow and listen to the podcast also on YouTube at Money Ben Productions with a Z. My friends, America is in deep, deep trouble. The government is not our friend right now. This big-time oligarchy has taken place. Now, you heard in California that the electric cars shouldn't be charged right now. Wait a minute. Aren't you guys the ones that are pushing for this environmental nonsense? And then for the vegans out there, oh, we shouldn't eat animals. Well, don't wear a leather belt. Don't wear a belt. Because where does that come from? Where do your clothes come from? You people are stupid. And I'm going to say it out loud. You guys are all stupid. Yeah. Oh, don't use fuel. Don't use oil. Well, guess what? Oils are making those electric car charging stations. There's a lot of contradictory going on here in America, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're not going to wake up and smell the incense, you're going to get left behind in a cloud dust like you've never seen before. Joe Biden's going to tell us about his environmental bill.
I wrote the bill.
He's whispering.
On the environment. Pay them more. This
What?
is an employees bargaining chip now. What's happening?
Wow. That deserved a shotgun blast like never before. Can you believe that guy? These people are not for us. I'm telling you right now, they are 100% against us. 100% against us. I am just so upset with everything that is going on in America. I just can't even fathom it right now. It's just too much for me. The farmers are losing their tails right now. Nobody's saying anything about it because, it's not our problem. The government's just got to keep going. You know what I mean? We just got to keep on, taking care of people and, playing daddy. The government is playing daddy to a lot of people right now, ladies and gents. They want people not to work. This is their purposely driven thing. They don't want people to work, but if they do want you to work, they want to tell you what type of a career you should have because they said so. Does that sound like control? Does that sound like communism? Does that sound like Karl Marx? Does that sound like General Stalin? It is all coming to life. I got to tell you, I feel awful for a lot of folks in this country that are not believers in Christ or followers of Christ. If you don't believe and follow Christ, I'm going to tell you one thing. This is going to worry the heck out of you. You're going to lose a lot of sleep over all of this, and it's going to be driving you nuts 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365, and in the leap year, 366. Man, when will people wake up? When will people stop selling their souls to the government? When will people stop fighting over Republican or Democrat? I am a conservative. Doesn't mean that I have to be a Republican because the Republican ship has sailed and left us behind. You know what I'm saying? Yep, they just skid out just like that. The party has left you, everyone. We're fending for ourselves. I think this transformation of America is crazy. It's going to happen. Are you going to stand up for your country? Are you going to fight for your fellow man, woman, child? I mean, the craziness that is going up here right now is insane. Did you guys hear about the transgender individual in the spa. The man claimed to be a woman, and he's sitting in a spa with children and women exposing himself? Are you kidding me? This is what America has come to. Nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Just like Arnold's nonsense, ladies and gentlemen, America is falling beneath the cracks. Are you really, really serious right now? You're listening to The Kennel right here on podbean.com. Please don't forget to like and follow the podcast. This is a Money Bin production. He really works hard on pushing this podcast out for your man, Vindog Radio USA. And you can follow me on Twitter, yes, at Vindog Radio USA. V as in victory, INNDOGG, Radio USA on the Twitterverse. Also on CloudHub, Parler, and Instagram. Oh my goodness. They're saying, Mel, you're back on Parler? Yes, I am, finally. I am so in love with this country and the people of this country that I am not taking sides. I'm only taking the side of righteousness. I'm only taking a side to stand. I'm only taking a side that goes against all of this critical race theory nonsense. I'm only taking the side of what's right for the people. Ladies and gentlemen, on the other side of the kennel, you better get ready because Vindog is going to unleash the hound, Smithers. Yes, I'm going to unleash the hounds, and it's going to be a goodie. You're listening to The Kennel right here on podbean.com with Vindog Radio, a Money Bin production. Back on the clip and other side, baby. Back in a minute, sucker. Back in a minute.
More with the street shooter himself right after this. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Vindog Radio.
American Airlines, rated the worst, losing the most bags, shrinking legroom during COVID. American requires passengers to show ID to fly, but attacks Texas's popular voter ID law. Why is CEO Doug Parker trying to appease the radical left? To distract from billions in taxpayer bailouts, from his $10 million payday, from Americans' record layoffs. Doug Parker, American Airlines. Serve your customers, not woke politicians. Coca-Cola is getting political, attacking Georgia's popular voting law. Why? To distract from years of dismal sales, terrible 2020 results, reports suspecting they benefited from forced labor in China. Coca-Cola products are poisoning America's youth and worsening the obesity epidemic. So the company tried funding phony science to minimize the harms, but they got busted. James Quincy, Coca-Cola. Stop poisoning our children. Serve your customers, not woke politicians. Nike is constantly political. Why? Cover. Congressional reports suspect Nike used forced labor in China. Religious minorities were ripped from their families, sterilized, sold to factories. Nike made shoes in those same areas. Congress tried to ban Nike's labor practices. Nike fought back with highly paid lobbyists. Rather than hiring Americans, Nike chose China. John Donahoe, Nike, stop exploiting foreign labor. Serve your customers, not woke politicians.
He shoots straight from the hip, and if you don't like it, go and stuff yourselves. Back to the kennel with Mr. Keeping It Real himself, Vindog Radio.
Welcome back to the kennel with myself, Vindog Radio. Yes, indeed, a Money Bin production. Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow us on YouTube at Money Bin Productions with a Z. Oh boy. How about Gwen Berry? Yes, we're going to say your name. Say the name. Gwen Berry. Bye, Gwen. Yes. An Olympic athlete took a stand against the American flag, turned her back on the American flag. Well. Dan Crenshaw had some opinions on that, and here we go.
She turned her back on the flag during the anthem, and she also put a black T-shirt over her face that said, activist athlete.
We don't need any more activist athletes. She should be removed from the team. The entire point of the Olympic team is to represent the United States of America. That's the entire point. Okay, so, it's one thing when these NBA players do it. Okay, fine, we'll just stop watching. But now the Olympic team, and it's multiple cases of this, they should be removed. That should be the bare minimum requirement, is that you believe in the country representing. But look,
yes, you should be removed, Gwen, from the Olympic team. Now, Jen Psaki's comments were, the president's a patriot, he loves the national anthem, and the Constitution says that people can do what they want. But do not take a stand against America when you are playing for America. Are you kidding me? That's all you can say, Psaki? I'm not going to say your name, Saki. It's stupid. I'm not making the P silent. This is nuts. Why are people standing for this? Go play for another country if you don't like America that much. I'm sick and tired of the people, we're going to stand for social justice in America. You know what I'm saying? Social justice. Social nonsense. Look, is there craziness in America in its history? Absolutely. Are there things that we should talk about in history? Absolutely. You know what I'm tired of? Schools teaching young children as young as 8 years old or younger how to commit sexual acts. We should be preparing children for the future. And yes, we should not teach critical race theory. We should not teach children to hate white people. That is sickening. There's medication out there called Ritalin. You guys need it. This is a very sick world we're living in, everybody. I cannot believe that someone would actually go to an event, medal, and then stand up and go against the American flag. It's really sickening, everybody. This is what this country is turning to. The turning point of America has ensued itself sickening. I am just so really, I'm not sad. Well, I am sad. I am appalled and sad at the same time. I actually feel bad for people when they do stuff like this. It's really sad. I'm like, you're an activist? Okay, that's fine. I don't care. You can fight for your rights. That's cool. That's what America's all about. But during an emotional situation like that, during an event that says something about America, like the Olympics, you're medaling in events and you're going for the Olympic team and you're still on the Olympic team, I think that's a problem. I think America is in huge trouble if we let this stuff continue. Stand for the flag. There are a lot of folks that have shed blood, sweat, and tears for you to have your freedoms. Hey, we're not 100% perfect, but I will tell you this much. It is better than living in Iran. It is better than living in Afghanistan. It is better than living in Iraq, formerly known as Babylon. It is better. As a matter of fact, Iran was formerly known as Persia. It is better than any other place on the planet. This is the most incredible creation and thought ever. Are there problems in the country of America? Yes, there is. But do we need to destroy the country just so that we can cross the bridge? No. You know what's wrong with America right now? Folks do not go to the table and hash things out anymore. All there is lashing at one another. That's all I see. I was talking to someone, and I don't even want to give them, props on their name. And we were having a discussion on things going on in the country. And then he proceeds to tell me, well, your dude, Trump. I'm like, whoa. Relax. Don't misquote me in anything I say. He said, your dude, Trump. I'm like, dude, calm down, bro. So what if I voted for Trump? And then he proceeds to tell me, well, I'm not a Biden guy, but he voted for Biden. Look, I don't care who's at the head of the state. As long as they are for America, I will vote for them. As long as they're pro-life, I will vote for them. As long as they hold the same values that I hold, I would vote for them. Let me tell you something. It's not about Republican or Democrat. It is all about who holds to the values and who holds to the Constitution of the United States of America. Donald Trump was an outsider. That's why people voted for him. Joe Biden is the same old guy. But he's not Lunchbox Joe anymore. He's out to lunch. He is not competent to run America. And the thing is, there are some folks that work in the media that are being muzzled. You don't believe me, do you? Let me tell you something. I come from the biggest business who created the biggest stage of mediocrity ever. Radio broadcasting. Do you know what our sayings were told to us in staff meetings? Theater of the mind, folks. You gotta make them think that it's bigger than what it really is. And TV copied it for the wrong reasons. You can't trust any of these TV networks. Look at Tucker Carlson. He said the NSA is spying on him with his private text conversations and more, trying to get him removed from Fox. Look, Tucker, I'm going to be honest with you. You should have left Fox a long time ago because these people will not back you up, brother. They will sell you down the river. Slippery slope and all. Everybody likes Sean Hannity and all this other good stuff, but I have my reservations. Dude, I don't even like Chuck Grassley. I think he's a sellout. I think a lot of these people are sellouts. I think one of the very few people I like is Jim Jordan. And you know what's crazy about Jim Jordan? He and I have something in common. We were both wrestlers. I was a high school wrestler. And you know what? That taught me discipline and respect. And he has it both. You can say what you want about Jim Jordan, but he's got more gumption than anybody I know in Washington right now. I don't know very much about Matt Gaetz, but a lot of stuff has came out against him. Because he speaks up. When you speak up, people say crazy and horrible things about you. Are there some things that I didn't like about my former president? Yes. Sometimes I say, oh man, don't say that. Just keep your mouth shut, bro, and just do the work. Let your work speak for itself. Come out and tell the people what you did after the fact. I know that the media goes on the point of attack of you, but calm down, brother. Calm down. It's crazy on how separate a lot of people are in this country. Let me tell you something. If this keeps going the way that it's going, America is really 100% through. Because people are capitulating to the division on both sides of the aisle. Look, You don't have to love the guy, but you have to admit he did do a lot of things that people didn't expect him to do. They were like, oh, this guy's going to be president. Oh, boy, we're in trouble. He did a lot of things he said he would do for the right reasons. He wasn't perfect. He admitted it. And the man disavowed the KKK like more than 40 times, and he still was getting browbeaten about it. And it's so funny that the people on the left that were browbeating him about denouncing the Ku Klux Klan, guess what? That side of the aisle's ancestors started the Ku Klux Klan. Yes! Nathan Bedford Forrest was a Democrat. Woodrow Wilson was a Democrat. Lyndon B. Johnson was a Democrat. Abraham Lincoln's vice president was named Johnson. And guess what? He was a Confederate Democrat. He was a racist, just like Lyndon B. Johnson. Johnson and Johnson. And it's so funny, 100 years later, Lyndon B. Johnson takes over after Kennedy gets shot. That's not coincidence. That was all mapped out. Kennedy was a Democrat, but he was also for America. Anyone who is for America, they will take you out like a lunch pail in heat. That's just the bottom line. These people are not for you, my friends. They are totally against you. They hate you. They hate me. They hate God. And they hate this country. If you want to get to the bottom of it all, just follow the paper trail. If you really want to know the history of America, dig yourself. Do some digging. Don't rely on other people that are on social media telling you about it. I'm going to post a couple of videos, and I'm going to let people, think for themselves on it and do their own research. Nothing is ever going to be perfect until the return of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's just the bottom line. And I'm going to leave it at that. Now, this young lady was working for CBS 62, and they were muzzling her, and she said something about it, and she supports Project Veritas. Shouts out to Lady Kate and James O'Keefe. Yes, these are good people, and they've been trying to expose all this crap for 10 years, and are finally doing it. I want you to listen to what this young lady has to say. Here we go.
It's not about me. They have no idea what it's like to be burdened with this and feeling like I'm watching my country disintegrate. And if I don't stand up and do something when I'm able to, I just don't know that I could live with myself.
You're not just a meteorologist, you're interviewing some pretty heavy hitters here. Gayle King, what's your reaction to what she said there?
When I hear fake news, I never think that it applies to us.
I just think that it's a shame because over the last couple of months, I've seen personally that there have been stories that CBS has run that were proven to be fake.
You heard that? Proven to be fake. But Gayle King says, I was surprised. I don't think that applies to us. Gayle King, shut up. If you're in for Oprah Winfrey, there'll be no Gayle King. So shut up, Gayle. And Oprah Winfrey, she's off the rails herself. Yes, CBS, you are the problem. Just like MSNBS, Fox, ABC, you name it. I'm just so sick and tired of you guys trying to play that game like, we're not the problem. We're just like, we're reporting the news. No, you're not. You guys are activist media. Keep going, my friend.
One of those stories that Project Veritas actually witnessed here.
Cherry Health now admitting that staffers were in the line of cars presented to the CBS network.
Well, we knew they were coming. We had no clue that we were going to have to, do fake patients.
We are supposed to be the people that bring light to corruption. So basically, they're going to use the power of all of Viacom CBS brands.
Is this journalism?
I don't think that this is journalism at all. I think that this is propaganda being pushed on people.
Why would you do that? Basically, that's the most selfish thing I've ever seen.
I was hoping there would be a change.
No,
because
not gonna, the only change is going to be, on our weekend weather person. That's the only change.
Your reaction to what he...
Wait, sorry, James O'Keefe, for interrupting you. The guy, Chuck, whatever his buckhead name is, was supposed to be a friend of hers, and he says, "Oh, I will not have your back." And he's like ridiculing her for speaking out. Chuck, you know what you need to do to yourself, Chuck? You know what you need to do? Write down the commo. Well, guess what, Chuck? There are words that I want to say to you that I can't say. And you know what they begin with? And the second word is Chuck all the way.
Said.
It's hard to hear that.
You're a wife and a mother of 4. How do they feel about this?
They are so supportive. I'm so blessed to have them. They support me 100%. We put our faith and hope and trust in God. That's what we do.
She puts all of her faith, hope, and trust in God. That's right. I'm going to play the rest of this video, which is going to be audio to you. And I want you to understand something. This lady put her career on the line for the truth. For the God-earnest truth. And she got canned for it. Oh, you're just a weekend weather girl. That's all we're going to see. They're just going to replace you. Well, Chuck, stick it up yours. Let's play the rest of this. Oh, man.
So you're going to go on there and say that, and you think that they're going to say, "Oh, you know what? She's right. We're going to go ahead and change those now because she said it on the air." You really thought that? The only change is going to be, on our weekend weather person. That's the only change.
So on the heels of Ivory Hecker blowing the whistle on her Fox affiliate in Texas, she's inspired another whistleblower, this time from CBS Detroit, to come forward with recordings and a story to tell about the bias and what she views as discrimination in her news station here in Michigan.
April Moss, I'm a meteorologist, but I'm also a multimedia journalist. So sometimes I was a fill-in host for Community Connect, which airs on the CW morning show.
You said on the air that you were going to come forward to talk about discrimination.
When COVID broke out in March of 2020, everyone was sent home except for the essential employees. So all of our policies are passed down from CBS New York, and there's just a blanket statement policy for all CBS affiliate stations. I don't want to lose my job. I will comply with weekly tests. CBS actually started to ask for access to the data from the lab, Pixel LabCorp, where we were getting our COVID testing. So I requested through HR, I said, I do not want to comply anymore with weekly testing.
Patrick Bynum, and he responded. He's the Senior Vice President Human Resources for CBS New York.
You're setting a standard within the workplace already of segregating coworkers, and I should not be discriminated against.
So many people in your position would probably have just resigned. You chose to come to Project Veritas.
Yeah. This issue is not just about me. I'm watching our whole nation suffer because they're put underneath these policies that are enacted by corporations. So these are emails that come through from corporate. We are using the power of our brands to encourage viewers to get the vaccine. So
this is CBS corporate.
Yes, Viacom CBS.
Vaccine hesitancy. We've seen this term before with Facebook.
So basically, they're going to use the power of all of Viacom CBS brands. One example that they're showing here is MTV and Comedy Central Brazil teamed up with Facebook and Instagram to launch an important social media campaign.
Is this news? Is this journalism?
I don't think that this is journalism at all. I think that this is propaganda being pushed on people.
What is the most egregious example that you've seen personally at CBS Detroit of this lack of journalism that you speak of?
Probably the most recent has been when we've done the Community Connect show, when I interviewed Dr. Caldoun. She was a major critical person in the vaccine rollout here in Detroit. I was really looking forward to asking her some questions about the safety and efficacy of the vaccines. Can you just clarify really quick about you said they prevent hospitalizations, but we know that there have been many studies showing that people have been hospitalized after the vaccination. What do you mean by that?
Absolutely. So when you look at the clinical trials, and all of them are different. So it's really important that you can't just put all of the clinical trials for all 3 vaccines into one and make assumptions. But in every trial, what they showed was that there is high efficacy when it comes to people who received the vaccine and whether or not they had COVID-19 related symptoms, hospitalizations, or deaths. There are some people who have had reactions after a vaccine, but those reactions are not necessarily directly related to the vaccine.
She basically said early in the segment that nobody had adverse reactions. So I was trying to have her clarify that for me. And as I was speaking, my producer in my ear was saying, move on to the next question.
Really? So the person at the station was telling you to move on from this line of questioning because from your perspective, they didn't want you to talk about this.
Right. I felt like as a journalist, it would have been careless of me as a journalist not to ask those questions. That producer asked me, I was really surprised when you threw that question in because that wasn't in the approved questions to ask her.
You're not just a meteorologist, you're interviewing some pretty heavy hitters here.
In today's day and age where it seems like the methodology of journalism is under attack right now. You have a lot of voices out there saying there's fake news. How do you encourage those people watching today to stay objective in their journalism, to be able to bring people truth?
Well, when I hear fake news, I never think it applies to us, because I think they're not talking about us at CBS.
Mm-hmm. Over the last couple of months, I've seen personally that there have been stories that CBS has run that were proven to be fake.
We have one of those stories that Project Veritas actually witnessed here in Michigan. You're telling me you're 100% certain that CBS News Corporation, National, staged a fake event. They faked the news, they faked the reality, and broadcasted that to all of their audience last Friday on CBS This Morning.
100%, absolutely.
Well, we knew they were coming. We had no clue that we were going to have to do fake patients.
They also can't expand testing because of recent staffing cuts.
It always seems to go back to the testing. Thank you very much. That was Adriana Diaz reporting.
There comes a time where you have to take a stand for something. No longer is true journalism being executed anymore.
And you see that day to day.
I feel like it is one of the greatest crimes in history right now, because if we are shaping the American public's mind, then we need to be seeking truth. And if we're seeing elected officials and other people in power and they're not getting questioned, that's a problem, or they're getting easy questions asked to them. And so I feel like the media is responsible. I'm watching my country disintegrate. And if I don't stand up and do something when I'm able to, I just don't know that I could live with myself.
That's why you're doing this.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Basically, that's the most selfish thing I've ever seen, because you don't give a crap about anybody else, and like if you get terminated, which you might, and then the burden is going to place on other people, you couldn't care less. It's just all about April Moss. I mean, I'm going to recommend that you get terminated. I'm not going to stand up for you.
I was hoping there would be a change.
The only change is going to be, on our weekend weather person. That's the only change.
It's hard to hear that. I never would intentionally try to hurt somebody, and I really do like my boss. I think he's one of the best.
This man right here.
I do.
You like him. You respect him.
I do. And he fought for me really hard with corporate. As much as I don't want to hurt anybody, I also see the whole world hurting right now. I had no other choice.
A choiceless choice. You're a wife and a mother of 4. How do they feel about this?
They are so supportive. I'm so blessed to have them. They support me 100%.
Oh, man. April Moss. God bless you. Crazy. That lady was ridiculed by Chucky. Oh, I'm going to recommend that you get terminated. Because I'm Chuck. I'm stuck like Chuck. You know, I see where they come up with that saying, stuck like Chuck. Because he's probably the worst kind of Chuck there is. And I feel bad for Chuck if he has a family because he's got no pelotas. He will not stand up for what's right. He just proved it right there. He's a narrative guy. I'll get my strings pulled and I'll do what they tell me because I'm a yes man. I'm a Chuck yes man. Yes, Chuck. Chuck 'em and suck 'em, huh, Chuck? All right, so I want to thank you all so much for listening to The Kennel right now, and I'm so blessed. I can't put words together right now because it is sad that the lady lost her gig, and then there's another lady, Ivory Hecker, and it's nuts. These people have destroyed other people's lives because they want to tell the truth. That's the price you pay in media. Shouts out to my man James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. I really love your work, my brother. And I would love to get you on this podcast because I want to talk out some things with you, man. I think it'll be a hell of a time that we would have together because I know that you know a lot of stuff that I probably haven't touched on yet because you've been fighting this fight for a long time. The fight for truth. That's what it's all about. We need to fight for truth. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Inside the Kennel right here on Podbean.com. A Money Bin production, ladies and gentlemen. Please like and follow the podcast on Podbean. And we're live on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, Pandora, and Spotify, and wherever you should download podcasts. God bless you. God bless America. What's left of it, and God bless the world, baby. This is The Kennel with Vindog Radio, baby. Sayonara. God bless you and love each other.
See you real soon, sucker.